Okay, so welcome everyone. We're going to begin with a short meditation. So just relax comfortably and uh, follow along.
Here's a short 3-minute self-care exercise that can give us time to stop and recharge our batteries. This practice uses the acronym SNACK. So first of all, finding a comfortable sitting, standing, or lying position. S is for stop and self-care, permission to stop. So closing the eyes, or perhaps looking at something soothing, like the view out of a window, or some flowers, or a family photo. And in this phase, we can also investigate a soothing touch, like placing a hand on the arm, or on the heart, or on the belly, maybe rubbing ourselves there, hugging ourselves, some kind of reassuring touch. So taking a moment to find that for ourselves. And once we've found our soothing touch, we can appreciate this for a moment, really receiving it, really taking in the warmth from that contact, or the comforting sensations from that reassuring rub. And now beginning to take a few long, easy breaths, soothing breaths, exhaling fully on the out-breath, with a sense perhaps of letting go. And then on the in-breath, tuning into the nourishing quality of the breath, the way that the body takes in oxygen and energizes itself. The N of this snack break is for noticing. First, noticing any physical sensations. So, for example, tuning in to the feeling of the earth supporting our feet or legs, or the seat supporting our weight. Feeling those sensations. Now noticing our emotions. How are we feeling right now? A bit anxious, irritated, bored? Where do we feel this in the body? And noticing our thoughts. As I record this, I'm noticing a thought of, I hope this is coming across all right. So just acknowledging whatever it is we're thinking without trying to change it. Because the A of our snack break is for acceptance. So as best we can, accepting whatever we feel. And we might like to express this silently to ourselves with a phrase like, it's okay to feel this. So choosing some words that fit for us. Even if we're feeling some resistance, seeing if we can accept the resistance. C is for common humanity. We all feel this way at times. And it can be a real relief to remember we're not alone. So finding a phrase to express this, such as, everyone feels like this from time to time, or whatever other words feel right for us. And K is for kindness. No matter what life throws at us, no matter how many mistakes we make, we can benefit from treating ourselves with kindness. So reminding ourselves with a phrase of self-talk like, may I be kind to myself in this moment. And as best we can, resting in this sense of kindness, or resting perhaps in our soothing touch, and taking a few soothing breaths to complete the practice. Many people find that this short practice, which takes just 90 seconds once we've got the hang of it, helps them to pause that accumulation of stress and generate a sense of warmth and acceptance and friendliness and positivity towards themselves that can be really motivating. Taking a break like this might also highlight further needs, like maybe we have some physical needs or social needs. We might notice we're feeling stiff and we need to stretch. Or maybe we need to drink some water. Or maybe we notice that we feel like talking to someone about how we're feeling. It can be useful to drop any expectation that this practice is going to help us feel good. It might be that the practice helps us to feel good. It might also be that the practice helps us to tune in to unpleasant emotions that weren't so obvious before. So here it can be good to lean into the acceptance and the common humanity and the kindness phases. The point isn't that it makes us feel good. The point is that we get in touch with what's really here and that we acknowledge it and we bring friendship and kindness to ourselves, whatever we're experiencing. So why not try adding a self-care break into your daily life as part of your regular self-care routine? The acronym SNACK can help us remember the different stages of the practice. Thanks for taking time to reconnect.
So welcome everyone. We are going with, my name is Myrna Lapres, if you don't know me. And today we are beginning our first in the series of Self-Care Isn't Selfish, Heal Yourself, Your Family, and the World. And this meditation was from Insight Timer. We're going to send a follow-up email that that I'll put a link into it. But Insight Timer or Mindspace has apps that you can have on your phone. So it's a very good way to remember to be present. So I'd just like to ask you a few things before we start, to keep yourself on mute unless you're speaking so that we don't have much background noise. And today's webinar is being recorded and it will be on our Facebook page, and also I'll send out the link. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about how this series came to be. There's a group of us who are connected with Women's Federation, and also we are coaches. And we went through a training with Hilda Wienman to become relationship and family parenting coaches. And we were inspired to combine our coaching work with Women's Federation. And the vision of Women's Federation is that women, of course, and men too, but women working together to establish a culture of heart in the family, community, nation, and world in order to achieve genuine and sustainable peace under God. So for us, this is an experiment that we are hoping to do monthly. So we're going to learn through the process, just like all of you here today. And we are excited to have you with us on this journey. So each time we're going to introduce some concepts or aspects that can help us begin to heal ourselves, as well as impacting our relationships with other people. And then, can you guys hear me okay? Someone wrote that the sound was too low. Okay, you also can, next to your mute button, you can adjust your audio settings. If you click on the up arrow and there's the audio settings and you click on audio settings, you can adjust it yourself as well. So we're gonna, today I'm gonna be presenting a little bit about real love, and also about just the concept of self-care. And also a little later, Roseanne Kennett is going to introduce us to a tool of EFT or tapping. So I'm going to begin here with sharing my screen. So we actually chose the, sorry, let me move my floating bar here, hold on. We actually chose the theme, self-care isn't selfish, heal yourself, your family, and the world. After some thoughts and discussion, Roseanne was actually the one who came up with it. And you know, we realized that many of us are challenged with taking care of ourselves, and many times we put ourselves last in the order of on our to-do list. So some of our goals and intentions for this series are to gain knowledge and understanding about how important self-care is, to learn techniques and practices that'll help us nurture ourselves in it. We want to create here a supportive environment, to begin to let go of patterns and behaviors that no longer serve us, and even to understand maybe where those came from, and to improve connection and communication with our family and friends, and most importantly, to invite in gratitude, hope, and joy. So for many of us, we have deeply rooted beliefs about self-care, that it's selfish to make time for ourselves, and we take care of and serve others so much that we often forget our own needs and health and our value even, and our worth. And it's difficult to find balance in our lives. And it's often challenging to feel that we're worthy of our own attention. So my own experience, I was struggled with this for many years. At one point, I wrote on this small index card, and I wrote a phrase and I put it up next to the mirror where I brushed my teeth every morning and every evening. So at least I was reminded twice a day, something like, you know, I am a beautiful daughter of God. I'm worthy of love and support. And it took me many years. I'm still working on it. But it's important for us to realize that we can't outsource self-care or self-love. We can't expect other people to do what we aren't doing for ourselves. And we need to, just like that short snack meditation at the beginning, find ways to incorporate it into our daily lives. And also, we really need the support of each other. We need to be able to have a community or a tribe. Here it says a circle of women, but any men on the call, of course, we need support of friends or an intentional group or community. So as the Beatles song goes, all we need is love. But what kind of love is that? Really, we need real, unconditional love, which is freely given. The development of our heart of love is meant to be a key priority in our lives. We're supposed to grow from a child to love my parents, then my siblings, then my classmates, you know, and to expand it and give and receive this unconditional love. And that's actually a key responsibility in our life. Our reality is, however, that something is pretty out of balance for us human beings. And most people are not happy, at least much of the time. And we're recognizing that there's something missing in our lives. As some of you have heard me say before, I was born to parents who believed in stewardship and peacemaking and helping others. My mom was a school teacher and my dad was a hospital chaplain and a pastor. But in spite of their best intentions and desires, our home had a lot of tension and negativity. And we went on lots of camping trips and my mom did lots of fun activities at home. But the reality is I never knew when she would get overwhelmed, and understandably so. She had 4 kids, the total was 6 years span, and my dad was gone a lot. But she expressed her frustration and stress towards us kids. And I came to believe that emotions are scary things and I don't want to have them. I pushed them down and, that's not realistic, of course. So sometimes I exploded like a volcano. But I also learned to be responsible and be a doer and get my value from doing things. And I'm still a recovering doer. And as I already said, I've struggled a lot with my own deeply ingrained belief that if I'm not doing things, I don't know where my value comes from. So we have all been wounded by our past. Our parents and our teachers did the best that they could, but they also didn't receive unconditional love. And our culture and our society, our schools are far from perfect. And research now helps us to understand that dysfunction develops because we didn't receive unconditional love in the formative years. The first 7 years of life are key in developing many aspects, but especially our self-image and value. And what happens is we learn to wear masks or have behavior that we use to hide or our pain and our feelings, just like me I'm wearing the doer mask. And also because we have been judged and criticized and conditionally supported for so long, that for some of us, it's even difficult to imagine being unconditionally accepted and loved. So how do we begin or continue to practice self-love and learn to receive and give unconditional love? So today, I believe that we have to first recognize and begin with the desire to change. We have to acknowledge that we want something more. We want to be able to have better quality love and relationships in our life. And then we have to express faith and believe that change is possible. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today is some aspects of real love by Greg Bear, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more later. But in order to change, we have to really believe that change is possible. So faith, in this sense, is the act of consciously choosing to experience something that maybe we haven't experienced the depth of before. Now, most of us have probably heard this expression of putting your best foot forward and, making a good first impression, showing our best selves. But the reality is that we all have a stinky foot. Greg Bear says, this is our faults, our imperfections, our mistakes, our flaws. And because oftentimes people don't like us when they see those, then that's why we learn to wear a mask, to cover up that pain and to play a role. Maybe, like a kid who is a good comedian becomes the class clown, because that way gets attention for that, and he hides maybe the other pains that are underneath. Or somebody like me becomes a doer, and I can get my value from being responsible. So with this self-care series, our goal here is to create a safe environment where we can begin to take off, first acknowledge, and then to take off the masks that we wear and discover our true self. And we want everyone to understand that this place has confidentiality, and we are developing something that's supportive, encouraging, and nourishing. And that it is when we can be able to be loved and accepted for who we really are, our mistakes and all, then we can begin to heal. And then in this safe environment, we can begin to own our mistakes, to tell the truth about ourselves, as well as gradually learning to replace getting and protecting behavior with healthy habits. So the way that we're going to do this today is I'm going to give you a few minutes to jot some things down, and then you're going to go into a breakout room with somebody and just share whatever you feel comfortable with sharing. So we're going to take 2 minutes and to answer these questions. What comes up for me around safe self-care, and what kind of mask do I use to hide my pain? Sorry, I forgot to share the music. Just keep on writing. We'll get back on track here. Okay. So just give me a minute here. And as I said, we're going to be going into breakout rooms to share. So Mary Hide, I have you on here twice. All right, so you're gonna have 7 minutes, like a minute to introduce yourselves, and then you'll have 3 minutes each just to share about what you wrote down. And as I said, just share whatever you feel comfortable with. And then I will send you a message, but it's also good if you try to keep track yourself. So you both get a turn. So 7 minutes total. All right, here we go. Welcome back, everyone. So I hope you had a good chance to share, and we'll have some reflections a little bit later in the program, but I wanted to continue here. So as I said, I want to share a little bit more about real love for those of you who maybe aren't so familiar with it. So Dr. Greg Bear wrote maybe at least 17 different books about the basic concepts of real love. And he was a successful surgeon and teacher, but he had everything except, and he wasn't happy. And he became a drug addict and he almost committed suicide. And it was a wake-up call for him. And the real love concepts grew out of his search for healing and wholeness. And so these are some basic real love concepts. True love, true happiness is our reason to live. This kind of happiness can only be obtained as we find real love for ourselves and share it with others. When we have unconditional real love, nothing else matters. Without it, nothing else is enough. And even if there's one person who loves us unconditionally, we can feel a connection to others, to everyone. When we understand and are getting real love for ourselves, we want to give it to others naturally. So if we think about our capacity of having love and giving love as a bucket, when our bucket is empty, when we don't feel loved, then we simply don't have anything to give other people, even when we want to. So we have to find ways to fill up our bucket. And, you know, coming here today, as I said, learning to recognize that we want to have a life that's more happy and more fulfilling is the starting place. And learning to tell the truth about ourselves allows us to feel wholly and authentically accepted. And then the more we do find ways to have this self-love, recognizing ourselves as a child of God, then we have we can fill up our buckets and even be overflowing. The more we have, the more we can give. And then loving other people becomes effortless. And most people have learned from experience that people express their affection far less when they see our mistakes and our flaws. So that's why we hide them. That's why we learn to avoid being criticized. But then it's impossible for people to really know us and for us to have that deep connection. So when we hide the truth about ourselves, we feel alone and it's difficult to have loving relationships. So learning to practice telling the truth about ourselves is what creates being seen, accepted, and feeling loved. It's a kind of simple concept, really, but it's not very easy to practice. So if we have, if I tell the truth about myself, and then the other person sees me, really sees me, and accepts and loves me, this is a foundation for creating love that I can then do the same thing for others. We create the opportunities to be seen, loved, and accepted for who we really are, and then we can do it the same for our children, our spouses, our friends, our coworkers, our bosses, people in our tribe. We learn to be able to see and accept other people and recognizing that just like me, they're doing the best they can. And, and then we also, a key part of it is learn to not take things personally. When somebody else does something, to see them as simply struggling with whatever life is handing them. So I'm gonna share a few examples of what telling the truth about myself means. It can be as simple as saying, when you're in a little bit, you're going to go back with the same people into the breakout room. You might say, I feel uncomfortable on doing this. I don't like to talk about myself. Or sometimes I'm not a very loving person. I yell a lot at my spouse and my kids. Or I often feel alone and afraid, and I worry about what other people think about me. Or even sometimes when someone asks me how I'm doing, I just say fine, because I know that's the answer people want to hear, even though I'm overwhelmed and I'm really stressed. So in a few minutes, we're going to go into our breakout rooms again, and we're going to have one speaker at a time. So this is important that we describe something about ourselves, not about things or events. And the other person just listens and unconditionally accepts and loves us without putting their own 2 cents in. But before we do that, I'm going to ask Lisa Freistetter, another one of the coaches that I work with, to share with us and give us an example of telling the truth about herself.
Hi, everybody. So when my children were young, and when they were fighting with each other and they were not obedient, they didn't do what I wanted them to do. And often I got irritated and angry. And I would say, stop that. And I would yell them, or maybe I had a very stern facial expressions. And those expressions and tone matters a lot for the kids. So in those moments, when I try to stop them from fighting, that actually caused the opposite effects. And later on, they were fighting more. But not only that, in those moments, I taught them that they are not lovable, that I don't love them unconditionally. And I hurt them also because in those moments, they learn that love has to be earned. And also that later on, I felt incredibly guilty about it. And I would go back to them and apologize, but the damage was already done. Now they didn't trust me, and they knew that it is not unconditional love. And the guilty feeling was so terrible for me to carry. But at the same time, I couldn't give more what I didn't have because I never saw unconditional love. So I had to be kind for myself and search for people who could accept me the way I am and speak my truth to other people. And really helped me to be more patient. On a way to my kids are adults, but I'm a way of healing those relationships and taking the time for myself and really fill my own pocket, because my own pocket was totally empty because I never saw unconditional love. Everybody got angry to me, so that's the only thing I knew. And there was so much pain in me that's what I knew it's wrong, but that's why I reacted to my kids and I yelled to them. And yeah, it's difficult to tell the truth, but it's very liberating to tell the truth, because when there are people who still love me, even they know my flaws, it's very, very liberating. So this is what I wanted to say.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa. Now you're going to go back with the same person into the breakout room, and you'll have about the same time, 4 minutes each, a little bit longer, to share. And just like Lisa said, when we can honestly talk about ourselves, then we can feel loved and accepted. And actually we can see our way to heal some of those things and even heal if we have adult kids, even begin to heal those relationships. Not in a poor me, I'm a victim kind of way, but in a way that can be able to begin to promote understanding and compassion and empathy for each other. All right, so just when you go back into breakout, decide who goes first, and I'll message you again when it's time to switch. Okay. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. So we're going to just take a few minutes. If anyone would like to unmute and share a short sharing about anything that has come up or any realizations about today. We're all a friendly group here. You don't have to be shy.
Well, I'd like to say something.
Sure, go ahead, Dee.
Myrna, thank you. I like working with Monica. So Monica and I worked, and I really told her something about myself that I didn't want to accept. But I found myself really looking at who I am, and I'm not a very, I don't think I'm a very loving person, and I'm not satisfied with anything. I don't think my family really cares for me that much. You know, I think they accept me because I'm their mom, my kids. But I have some issues that I'm a very unloving person, and I'm trying to work through it. And that's just why I really wanted to come today. I needed to hear this about self-love, because I find myself just uncomfortable, that the way my kids feel about me. And so I guess I'm not a very nice person.
Well, let's say at times you are not. So we're all unloving at times. So yes, thank you for sharing, Dee. Yeah, and it's important. It's important for us to, we can't change something that we don't acknowledge. And it's often easier to talk about it to people that we don't have family ties or baggage with. It's often easier to start from another place like that. So I'm glad you could join us today.
Thank you.
Would someone else like to share? Deanna, go ahead, unmute yourself. Yeah.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi.
Hi there. This is coming at a very good time for me. In recent, I don't know, maybe over the summer, I've been realizing that I have to take care of myself. I have to. I keep getting these physical things like my back, or things keep happening. And I think it's because I haven't been really true to myself, I guess you might say. And I think too, you can be true to yourself and still be true to other people. I mean, my husband's right. I can see him. He needs my help, but it's like, I mean, he's doing a physical thing. He's putting a stove in, but he's going to have to wait a few minutes. Sorry. And I also, I think it was a night or two ago, I saw a video on highly sensitive people. And I think I'm one of them. And I think maybe a lot of the, people here are too. Like really a person that's very sensitive, and then you try to hide and you put a mask on. I mean, I was that class clown you're talking about, and I still can be that too. Yeah, so this is really good, and I'm glad it's being recorded so I can hear it again. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Deanna. Okay, I think we have time for one more person and someone would like to share. Linda? Oh, I'm sorry. Mary and then Linda. Sorry, go ahead, Mary.
Okay, hi. I came in late, so because I was on another Zoom call, but I just appreciated the subject for one thing. And I appreciated the fact that I could be one-on-one with another person with an experience completely different than mine, and yet we really need each other. And it just reminded me, when you hear someone else's situation, automatically things come to your mind of when either something similar or something that you were hurt by or your child was hurt by. And so I just appreciate these kinds of times when we can come together and meet somebody new, talk, one-on-one. And we never forget that person if that person was able to help us just by listening, so I appreciate that. And I always love to see faces I haven't seen for sometimes decades. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. And Linda, go ahead.
Okay, well, I was with Christine Sehar, and I never met her before, but I thought we both shared pretty deeply. I do believe that everybody needs this because no one's perfect, and I go to like everything I could get my hands on, but now I feel I'm like Mary. I just got out of a Zoom call, and I gotta go to another Zoom call. But I feel now instead of, there's such a pressure to have things quickly and to be perfect, and we're not perfect. We're very far from perfect, and society actually has made us very dysfunctional and abnormal human beings in history. But I want to really applaud Myrna and Roseanne and the other woman for really helping us. And I'm really grateful that I took the time and the extra Zoom call to be here. Yay, Linda. And I thought that was self-care. So I really am requesting Myrna to please give us through our emails that little thing about the bucket being full. I love the bucket being over water. It's like, I really want to stay in that mode, because sometimes my bucket is like empty and I'm like, but if like, especially the wording, Myrna, that you have, like, I believe it's, you gotta be loved, you gotta be seen. Okay, and then accepted and then loved. I don't know, those are the only three things that stayed with me. But if we could get it through an email, I would really appreciate it. And thank you so much, all my dear sisters and brother who came onto the call. I am so grateful for this healing seminar. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Yeah, we'll send out the recording and other resources as a follow-up. So today, we'd like to introduce you to a tool that can be useful when we feel anxious or stressed or challenged by something. Maybe even today, you recognize giving yourself space to check in with yourself. You recognize something some emotion that came up for you. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Roseanne Kennett, who is a coach, and she also does emotional freedom technique or tapping, and she's going to tell you all about it. So welcome, Roseanne.
Hi, everyone. So I feel really blessed. I learned about EFT about 20 years ago when my kids were still little. And I worked full time. So sometimes if I had a stressful day, I would start tapping in the car on the way home so that I wouldn't come home and dump all my stress on them. Or if my kids were the cause of stress, sometimes I'd run into the bathroom and do a quick session. So I'd like to share with you, and we'll do one practice session, but it's super easy. Anyone can learn it. Anybody can do it. Even kids do it. So Myrna, would you mind showing the first screen? And I'll just give you a quick run through. There we go. So emotional freedom technique was discovered, back in the 80s, by Dr. Roger Callahan, and it uses the same meridians that acupuncture uses. And I like looking at it as acupuncture or acupressure for the emotions, because we're tapping on those meridian points, and somehow, just like with physical pain, this technique helps to balance our emotions It also, another way of looking at it is it helps to release stress or anxiety or an uncomfortable emotion to try to find what's underneath it. And sometimes you do several rounds just to get to the real cause of the discomfort. So it's a very practical tool, and it's something that it's very easy to do, and you can do it anywhere. You don't have to close your eyes, and you don't have to go into meditation. So we'll go through it, we'll practice it together. And can you go to the next slide, please? These are the points. So the first point is on the side of your hand where your little finger is. That's called the karate chop point. That's where we do the setup statement that we'll go through together. Then there's a point right at the top of the head on the inner eyebrow, the outer eyebrow, that bony structure there, you can feel where the bone is. So you just kind of slide it from the inner eyebrow, then you tap, and you tap about 7 times using 2 fingers so you don't have to worry about missing the point. And then the next one is right under your eye, still that bony eye socket there. Then under the nose, under the chin, the collarbone, I like just using my whole hand because you can actually do either side. You don't have to do both sides. You can do right or left, if one arm's tired, switch to the other one. But the collarbone is pretty easy just to tap with 4 fingers so that you can get both of them that way. Under the arm, for ladies, it's right where your bra strap is. For men, if you just put one hand under your armpit, and then it's right under your hand, that point there. So those are all the points. Can you go to the next slide, please, Myrna? So we can do this several different ways. If there's someone who would really like to work on a particular issue right now, you can be a brave volunteer and we can work on it together. Other people can think of a certain event that may trigger you or a certain emotion that might be coming up. So we'll go through it and we'll all learn together. And also, once you come up with your issue that you want to work on, it's really good to assess it from 1 to 10, 1 being barely recognizable and 10 being unbearable. So if you label it, it's kind of easier to see how you're doing after you do a couple of rounds. And then at the very end, so we don't just stay on the discomfort or the emotion that we're struggling with, but then at the end, we kind of nurture ourselves and we come up with an affirmation, and we also tap in the affirmation so that it's anchored in our system. So is there another slide, Myrna? Is that the last one? Okay, so would anyone like to volunteer, and then we can start? We're going to start just by putting your hands over your heart. We'll take deep breaths together. And then there's a setup statement, depending on what the emotion is, and we'll go through that together. So would anybody like to volunteer, or I could use a generic emotion that many people are struggling with now and during this pandemic?
Maybe just go ahead. Oh, Linda said she would volunteer.
Okay,
Linda,
can you hear me?
volunteer? Okay,
Yeah.
I can hear you.
I just feel like I'm dealing, I think all of us in the call, if we're honest, we're dealing with a lot of stress.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with a lot of stress because I am wanting to do a lot, but in so doing, it needs a lot of responsibility to get some things done, and I feel really pressured that I'm falling behind to get them done. To get this one presentation done, it needs to get done. And I started last Sunday to get it done, and it's still not done.
Okay.
Okay, and I have to do an all-nighter tonight.
Oh boy. Okay, I think most of us can relate to that, Linda. So would you say the prevalent emotion is stress?
Yes.
Okay. So let's start just by putting your hands over your heart and take 3 deep breaths.
So Roseanne, maybe you can just tell everybody they can just follow along to practice.
Oh yeah. please follow along. If you don't have any stress in your life, then just think of a different issue that you might be dealing with. But just please follow along because that's how we'll learn by practicing together. So 3 deep breaths, everyone. Okay, so we're going to do the setup statement. And the setup statement is so that we do not judge ourselves for the emotion. So you're experiencing stress, but you're not your stress. You experience anxiety, but you're not your anxiety or depression or whatever you may be feeling. So the setup statement is, even though I'm feeling stress, I love and accept myself. And say that 3 times. Even though I am feeling stress, I love and accept myself. Even though I'm feeling stress, I love and accept myself. Even though I am feeling stress, I love and accept myself. And then we start on the inner eyebrow and just say distress. And Linda, if you're comfortable at any time, you can start saying statements. So you can just go through it saying this stress, or sometimes people really get into it and this stress is wiping me out.
This stress is wiping me out.
And then under your eyebrow, under your eye, this stress.
This stress is a deadline that I am ignoring.
Okay,
Doing
I want to
everything
stop.
else, but not doing it.
You're doing great, but I forgot to ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, how intense is your stress?
Right now it's about it's 8.
Okay. Okay, so let's keep going.
Okay.
So after that one, we're going to go under the nose, this stress.
This stress.
And then on the chin, under your lip,
This stress.
And then your collarbone, this stress.
This stress.
And you wanna feel it, but you don't want to hurt yourself when you're tapping. You don't want to be black and blue after you do a tapping session. And then under your arm, this stress.
This stress.
What else is it doing to you, Linda? Does it keep you up at night? And then on your head.
This stress, yeah, I feel like it's going away now.
Good. Good.
There's like a distance now on it. Okay.
Good, that's what you want.
I'm laughing.
Good, that's what we want. On a scale of 1 to 10, then how is your stress right now?
It's come down to like maybe a 3, and I feel like I have more control. Kind of.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do one more round in case other people aren't as quick as you in coming down to a 3. Okay, we'll just do one more round and then we're going to do a positive affirmation.
Okay.
So this bit of stress that's left.
This stress is left.
I'm so happy it's going away.
Yeah.
But other people may still be feeling stressed. So we're going to support them. Tap under the eye. Under the nose, this stress.
This stress.
Under the lip, the stress.
Stress.
I don't like stress.
Tapping
the collarbone. Bye-bye, stress. And then under the arm. And the top of the head. And where is it now, Linda? 1 to 10.
I feel really motivated now. It's not overwhelming, and I feel
Okay.
yeah, it's kind of like a way. It's not. I'm not the stress. Stress is. It's a 2 now.
Oh, that's awesome. So shake it all away, every last bit. So what would you choose now for a positive affirmation? How would you choose to feel now instead of stressed about all those things you have to do?
I feel like I could manage my stress if I do my tapping, and I'm starting to feel overwhelmed. Then I could do my tapping, and I could feel I don't know. It's like it takes over even my thinking pattern. So when I put that distance away from my stress, kind of okay, you're over there. Now let me just think and concentrate, because it doesn't overwhelm my.
Oh, that's great. That's great, Linda. And you also brought up another point I forgot to mention about limiting beliefs. So you can also tap on those limiting beliefs. Like, I can't manage this. I'm overwhelmed. I can't do it. That's a limiting belief, and you can tap on that as well.
Okay.
But for now that you've gotten down, how about I can manage my stress and take care of everything I need to take care of.
Okay.
Does that feel good? Anything you want to add to it? Okay. All right, so we're going to tap that in. Same way, starting with the inner eyebrow. I can manage my stress.
I can manage my stress.
I can take care of my to-do list with no problem.
Take care of your deadlines with no problem.
Then under your eye, I am stress-free and feeling creative.
I am stress-free and feeling creative and focused.
Without stress, I can accomplish more.
Without stress, I could accomplish more.
And be happy about it.
And be happy about it.
Under your lip. Oh, I'm so grateful to be free of that stress.
So grateful to be distant from that stress.
And your collarbone. I can think more clearly.
I can think very clearly.
And under your arm. And I feel more motivated.
I feel motivated. I could get this done.
And finally, the top of your head. One last thing, Linda. How do you want to feel?
I feel empowered. I empowered myself.
Yay. Woohoo!
Yeah.
So that is so great. So Linda, you guys do that really fast, but I want to encourage people. Sometimes you have to go through it 4 or 5 times, the rounds for those points, and that's okay. And also sometimes, just to, it's not unusual that, for example, something like anger, you might find after you go through several times that under the anger, there's hurt or pain. And then you just want to tap on that and just go until you feel really relaxed and ready to anchor in a positive affirmation that can help shift how you're feeling. So that's, next time I can include some things about, there's been brain research on tapping and brain imaging that shows how it actually affects the amygdala, the fight or flight reaction in our brain. But I think we'll save that for next time. And I turn it back over to you, Myrna. And Linda, thank you for being so brave.
You're welcome. Thank you for helping me.
Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, one of the things I really love about tapping or EFT is that you don't need any other equipment. Your hands are always with you, and you can go to some place, even if you need to, like a bathroom or a quiet place to tap when you get stressed out. And we will have more, show more uses of this with Roseanne in the future of the series.
Can
So-
I mention one more thing
Sure.
that was also really helpful for me? When your kids are under 18, you can do surrogate tapping for them. So I know one of my kids, you know, if he was having a temper tantrum or a meltdown, I would do it for him. I mean, I taught my kids to, but you know, one of them was responsive, but most of them were like, oh no, mom, I'm not doing that. But you could do it for them. You can actually, I am whoever their name and just go through it. And it really helps calm them down. I just wanted to share that too, because that was a biggie for me.
Okay, thank you, Roseanne. Actually, there's some research now that they've used this in schools and teaching kids to, and there's several books that are for children about dealing with their emotions. So there's a lot of applications for this. So we're gonna do a couple of things right now. Let's see here. Let me change my view so I can see all of you. So we want to give a short time for questions. So if you have a question that you'd like Lisa, Roseanne, or myself to answer, please type it in the chat. And we also have a poll that I just learned how to do this. So we're going to have a poll today, guys. We just want to ask you, you know, on a scale of 1 to 5, how relevant was today, and also about the times for our future one. So I'm going to launch it. Let's see. Can you see it on your screen? There's just 2 questions to answer. On a scale, 5 is the highest, 1 is the lowest. And I haven't figured out how to put short answers yet. Hopefully I'll do that next time. So you have to just choose a number, and then also the same time as today or a little later in the afternoon. And if you have any questions, then also type it into the chat. So we'll just give 1 more minute before we end the poll. So it looks like, yes, go ahead.
I don't see where to type in the number or the answer.
You just click on one of them.
Oh, okay. Just click on a number.
Yeah, I
Okay.
haven't figured out how to do short answer ones yet.
Okay.
Ask a young adult how to show me how to do that. So it looks like so far this time is the most. Has everyone entered their info into the poll? Okay, so I'm going to end the poll, and let's see, share results. Okay, so you can see the results there. Some people said 4 to 5, 4 to, oh, that should be 4 to 5:30. Sorry, not 4 to 4:30. All right, so we'll consider it. And tentatively, our next webinar is scheduled for Saturday, December 11th, and we'll send out more information in the near future about it. But are there any questions that anyone has? No one typed anything in the chat, so.
Any particular topics people are interested in?
Yeah, maybe topics. And one thing also that we will send in the follow-up email is that Roseanne, Lisa, myself are also coaches, and we offer classes. So we can only give a taste of things here, but then maybe there would be something that you might want to explore further in the future. Okay, nothing in the chat. Okay. Anyway, our goal is to be able to offer different tools. In the future, we'll do some more, have Roseanne do some more EFT, also some inner child work, as well as some more with real love. Also, I'm a safe conversations facilitator. So we might do something with that one time. And we have a lot of different tools that and topics that we'd like to introduce. So thank you, everyone, for coming, and have a peaceful rest of the day. And don't forget to tap if you get stressed out. Thank you again.
Thank you, Myrna. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Rosanne.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you
Bye.
all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you next time.